All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Indianapolis Colts in today's video, and Anthony Richardson, Danny Dom Jones, kind of an interesting, fascinating football team just because the quarterback is a little interesting. But Anthony Richardson is only 22 years old, and I think he has a lot of potential. He technically led Indy to an above 500 record when starting last season, and this is the year. And I just heard your GM say, he expects both Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson to improve this Colts team. And I just think Anthony Richardson is such a raw prospect that I was watching some of this film, specifically him using his legs, and he was drafted fourth overall for a reason. And I'm a little bit bigger on Anthony Richardson than some others are, but I understand at the same time, the NFL is a quick moving business and you have to win and you have to start putting up results. But we're going to go through a bunch of stuff. And I'm doing this thing right now where I literally just have a bucket, a basket of all those NFL teams. I pick one, make a video about it for that day. And we did Colts today. And so I'm trying to catch a gauge here, and I'm on The Athletic, and they are doing a roster ranking projection before the NFL draft for all 32 teams. And they've got Indy here at 21. And that's totally fair because, and they say it too, you can't look at the Colts roster and not start at the QB position. Anthony Richardson has shown some bright spots, but it hasn't done it enough consistently to solidify himself as a long-term starter. But even outside the quarterback, the Colts have a ton of holes. Tight end, edge, and linebacker all rate out at the bottom third of the league. And I wanted to bring that one up specifically because, the NFL draft is right here. And I actually have a 7-round mock draft from PFF. And I just want to say, because they had let me preface this before we even get into it. The Colts have flaws. All 32 teams in the NFL have flaws. I don't care. I understand they have linebacker flaws. I understand they need badly a tight end, specifically for the long-term future and even just right now to start next season. They need a tight end. I get it. They need another right guard, right? No more Will Fries. I get it. But none of this matters if the Colts don't have a QB. None of this matters if Anthony Richardson can't pan out. But I just wanted to preface that because look at this mock draft. This is a PFF mock draft. And on the screen here, we got Tyler Warren, tight end at 14. We got an edge rusher at 45 and Nick. And then we got at pick number 80, a linebacker. All right. And then even a little bit deeper, you got 116, a safety. So I'm just saying all of those things can be fixed. All of those little flaws can be fixed. And that's not really what I'm concerned about. We're going to get into some film here. But PFF also says the same thing. That was an Athletic article. PFF saying the same thing. They need a tight end. They need a linebacker in the starting or in the draft for starters. And then remaining depth needs, interior offensive line, specifically the guard position. Also, no more Ryan Kelly at center. And then another edge. The offseason's been actually interesting because they've made some really interesting moves. Charvarius Ward on a 3-year, $60 million contract, which I absolutely loved. Cam Bynum on a 4-year, $60 million. And that one's kind of interesting because I don't know, maybe Colts fans have caught on to this. So, hello. Before we get back into the video, it is spring, which means longer days. The sun is shining brighter, which means we need longer deodorant, which is perfect for a sponsor today, Mando. I love their just normal stick deodorant, but they sent me a starter pack. It's perfect for new customers. Comes with the solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant. We've got 2 free products of your choice. Mini body wash, for example. You could use these deodorants for another example. I love these still. I'm really rocking this whole body deodorant because I like to shower at night, and I live in Florida and it's super hot. Always outside, golf and whatever, and I shower at night and my feet, I play a lot of golf and it gets hot out, so I use this for my feet when I get back. But as a special offer for our listeners here, new customers get $5 off your starter pack with code UPTON, which means that equates to over 40% off your starter pack with code UPTON at shopmando.com. The link is in the description. It's also pinned in the comments. Thank you, Mando, for sponsoring this. Let's get back to the video. Cam Bynum was signed from Minnesota right when free agency began, right? That was touted at that point, over a month ago when free agency began. That move was initially touted as a great move, like a bargain move almost. 4 year, $60 million contract for an up and coming young rising star safety. And it's funny, I was just reading an article yesterday prepping for this video, and I saw, eight of the worst contracts of free agency, six contracts that won't pan out in a year. Can't buy them right there. So I don't agree at all. And there's new defensive coordinator, Coach Lou, coming over for Indy, and I think just in general, like, I've got it right here: 24th in opponents' points per game. Indy's defense gave up about 25 a night or a game. I'm in basketball world right now. They gave up 230 passing yards per game. They're the 26th ranked passing defense. They're the 24th ranked rushing defense. So the first two moves you saw them make, and you even saw it with my former defensive back on the Green Bay Packers and Corey Ballantyne. You saw Charvarius Ward, Cam Bynum, and Corey Ballantyne. So a huge, possibly. I remember making Colts videos this time last year. The biggest issue was the secondary. That was the Colts' biggest issue last year, so they address it right away. But even just in general, like, the Colts' defense is talented enough to be at least around an average defense. And I think the simple defensive coordinator change, just getting better coaching in there, no disrespect, I think that's going to make all the difference in the world. Like, that enough should get the Colts defense to playing how their roster looks, at least around average, right? And now you bring in some dogs in Charvarius Ward, who really needed to change the scenery, and Cam Bynum, who is just, like I said, an ascending young safety in the NFL. And it's actually kind of crazy that Minnesota lost him. I think I didn't personally see that coming. I don't really even think the Vikings saw that one coming. So defensively, I'm all right. I get it. They have flaws. They need a linebacker. They need an edge. Like, I get it. You need to make some moves in the draft. But let's take a look at some Anthony Richardson just film here, because he does things quarterbacks can't do, or he does things other quarterbacks can't do. So we got a tweet here. This is, I think, from like Thanksgiving. This is a game against the Detroit Lions, and it's just a simple run. And he tweets here: if Anthony Richardson waits half a second for his guard to get to the safety, that's a house call. And so when Anthony Richardson was drafted at 4 overall, we knew he was going to be a project. Like, we knew Anthony Richardson was such a raw prospect. What do you have? Like 13 starts going into the NFL. So, this is something just quarterbacks genuinely can't do. And as Ted points out in this tweet here, if he waits for number 71, just a half second or just a second, he's taking that to the house. There's only a couple of quarterbacks in the NFL that can do this. Lamar Jackson comes to mind, even like Justin Fields comes to mind, but there's not many QBs who can do this. And so AR's accuracy was an issue because it was an issue at Florida, and he only started 1 year at Florida. So we knew he was so freaking raw as a prospect that it was going to take some time. So that's why Shane Steichen was brought in here. He just can't do the little stuff, but he does stuff quarterbacks can't do, just the small little stuff, the simple passes he struggles with. So I say, and the Colts say it too, give him another year. I think he'll beat out Danny Dimes in camp. And if halfway through the season that's not working out, they'll probably move to Daniel Jones, and we'll have a much different conversation this time next season. So all in all, man, I'm still hopeful. I'm very hopeful, actually, on Anthony Richardson, which means I'm pretty hopeful on the Indianapolis Colts pulling it around this season. So thank you guys for watching. Shout out to our sponsor, Mando. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. We post a couple of Colts videos every single month. If you guys want more, let me know down below. But give me who you want at 14 in the comments. Peace.